Hi, my name is Robert W. Lanez III. I serve as the president of Ohio Ordnance Works and want to introduce to you today our REAPR. Stands for Recoil Enhanced Automatic Precision Rifle. This is our answer to the military looking at the .338 Norma Magnum cartridge for a greater distance of effective engagement. So what we did when we started developing the system was we took the .338 Norma Mag cartridge itself, the energy level of it, and really designed the gun around it, not taking something that was already existing and up-chambering it to that caliber. So this is a ground-up development. I do like to say to people, nothing under the sun is new with guns. So physics are physics and materials are materials, but we have pushed the envelope with what is capable with this weapon system and allowed us to make something that is unique, simple, easily used at the user level, and ideal for somebody to carry in combat. So kind of go into the features of the gun. It is a quick change barrel system. It has plenty of rail space. It has its own buttstock. Again, all of the features on this gun were specifically designed to be fit on a belt-fed machine gun system. So nothing that is like lighter weight in a way of sacrificing quality. So we didn't look at putting other existing pieces. If something needed to be redesigned for the system, it was done. So going into the barrel change option. So in order to do the barrel change, you pull the barrel, twist it, and it unlocks and brings it out to the front. So when you go to reinsert the barrel, you have these two flats here, and that is your 12 o'clock indicator position. So you feel that with your thumb, and you can pick either one of them. So as long as that is to the 12 o'clock position, you can insert your barrel, twist it, and it's locked into place. We have a QD suppressor on the front here. So you turn that, you're able to take this off, switch it between barrels. You can keep you can have multiple suppressors, different options. A really big thing that we kept in mind during the development of this system is the gun should be agnostic. So what kind of optic you want to put, what kind of enhancement, accessories, lasers, thermal, night vision, anything that you want to put on this weapon system to make it, what it needs to be for the mission specific is the direction that we were going. So another feature I'll jump into, kind of one of our bigger ones, is the top cover and the feed tray. So a big thing about this is a 1,500 meter plus gun. So, with a 6, 8 power, even a 10 power optic, are you really going to see 1,500 meters with that optic? It depends, again, on the actual mission, what optic you're using on it, but generally, like the 240 and other weapon systems, they weren't designed to have optics on them. So when you improve those and put optics on them, they become problematic because you're putting a heavier piece of material, in this case an optic, on top of a cover that was only designed to take so much weight and load. And so there's an inherent problem that the part is not strong enough to handle that. But at the same time, a traditional cover, when you open it up, you would be nosing into something that's in front of it as well. So you lose this rail space in front, not being able to utilize that. So what we did to come up with a solution for that is, let me take this barrel out and stand the gun up. So let's say you want to have a higher power magnification. You want to run your optic further forward. Traditionally, that would not be an option. So I'll use the suppressor to simulate that here. So we came up with a cover system where you pull this to the side, and you can still open your cover, clear your links, clear any malfunctions from the side, load new rounds on the feed tray, close this down, slide this in, and lock it in place. All that while having full utilization of your rail space up on top of the gun. you can run your thermal, night vision right up to the optic, and again, utilize that full rail space. Another option or feature for the gun is the buttstock on the rear. So kind of standard for today's guns. You know, you have options for folding stocks. Everything recoil system is internal to the gun, so nothing comes back. There's no hydraulics. We stayed away from that because of temperatures. So you don't want to have that hydraulic fluid have different operating temperatures. So if it's hotter or colder, the gun does not see that performance difference because of the temperature. So you can flip this around, fold it to the right, you can fold it to the left. You have a sling mounting point here in the rear. You have sling mounting points up here in the front. And again, going into the conversation about the buttstock and the bipod and all the things that are kind of ancillary items to the actual mechanism inside of the gun, we wanted to focus on those and make sure that those were enhanced, because, you know, not everybody's cheek position is the same, you know, for an optic. So, you know, if you go with a standard mount, instead of having to switch mounting rings or all these different features on the optic itself, we decided to enhance the buttstock. So you have an adjustable cheek comb. You can pull down on the bottom of the stock. You can adjust your length of pull. You also have a shoulder rest built into it. So all of those features built into, again, a specific purpose-built buttstock for the system itself. Collapse those. You can actually remove this. You can take the buttstock off, and you can run it with a spade grip kit. So for vehicle and or aircraft, you could easily run it in those situations. So going to kind of disassembly or a little bit more of features as well. It is a bottom eject. And the reason we did that was because you can easily swap this gun over to a right-hand feed system. And if you had a right-hand feed system and a side eject or a right, you know, whether it was right side or down at a 45 or some angle, and you had a belt coming in from the right, you'd be hitting your belt. So that is not good. You don't want your cartridge, your spent cases hitting your belt going into the gun. So it ejects out of the bottom. A couple other standard things you have. The standard M240, M249 mounting position, so it fits into existing cradles for vehicles, aircraft, all those things I was talking about. Another feature we have is the trigger group. So in order to take this out, you push this pin in, pin comes out on the side, and the trigger group comes off. So features I talk about with this system is it is the same crossbar safety as a 240, 249. And what that allows you to do is keep familiarization with the system. So you're not learning some new controls for a different weapon system. We have integrated our select fire design into this, what we have had on our 240s and 249s. So the biggest difference is in this system, because it is primarily a machine gun, not a sniper rifle, we have full auto to the top and then single to the bottom. So you can take single shots, quickly flip it up and out of the way, and go back to your primary mode of function, which is machine gun. The difference between this system and how we advanced our 240 select fire trigger group is we integrated a removable AR-style pistol grip for, again, customization. If you drop it and you break something on it, you're breaking a smaller dollar item versus a whole assembly, as well as this axis or mounting point for the front. On a 240, you slide that rear cradle pin through the trigger group. So if you have a malfunction or something and you want to take the pistol grip or the trigger group out of the gun, you have to remove that cradle pin, remove the trigger group out, put the cradle pin back in. It just causes more steps to do disassembly. So this pin on the side, it's retained. So that is stayed in there. We'll go further into disassembly here. So to take the operating group out, you push this pin on the rear, pull it out, and again, that is retained on the left side of the gun. You lift up and pull back. That is your disassembly of the operating group. So everything is contained here. You can clean it from here. You can take your bolt head off, clean the internals of the bolt. Again, all springs and mechanical buffer systems inside, nothing hydraulic. Once you have the bolt group, the operating group out of the gun, you can pull your charging handle back and take that out. You can flip it from side to side, so you can put it on a left hand if you have a shooter that prefers it to be on the left-hand side. Once the charging handle is on the opposite side, it leaves this side of the gun, the other side open, so we have integrated a cover, kind of for obviously dust reasons, as well as, let's say you want to make it, put a laser cable. So you have your cable, it comes down the side, you can have clips that go into the M-lock slots, which is standard at the 3, 6, and the 9 on this. And then you can run your cable back and you can push it into these and you can run your pressure pad back to your trigger group. So you have utilization of something, not just a dust cover, but going into that. Another thing, part of the requirement for this system is the caliber conversion. So 338 Norma is not really widespread, especially as a machine gun cartridge. And so 7.62 by 51 NATO is widely used all around the world, and it's prevalent. And so for training purposes, maybe ranges that don't have the capability of shooting 338, you want to be able to shoot this and train with 7.62. So in order to do that, part of the requirement again is going after something that you don't have to take to an armorer. So let's say I don't want to be down and I want to be on a range, and just the individual operator, the machine gunner, has their conversion kit with them. Well, that means it needs to be toolless. So they're not going to be out there with screwdrivers, punches, and hammers and things like that. So in order to do that, we came up with this system where you lift the top cover, push this button on the side, rotate your pin. This pin comes out, your top cover and your feed tray come off, and you're able to swap those out with 7.62 components, as well as your feed lever from the inside. You can take that out. That comes out of the gun. It's marked 338, so when it's in there, you can visually see from the top that you have a 338 caliber feed lever in there. You will have a whole different internal component assembly for the operating group, because instead of an operator changing springs and a bunch of other components, you're able to just pull one operating group out, set it to the side, swap out to your other feed lever, top cover, feed tray, and put those components back in, as well as your barrel extension inside the gun, and then go right to shooting 7.62. One of the big things about that too, and the reason we went with the barrel extension being changed as well, is that that's a limiter. So we put in the design where we do not have the ability to interchange the calibers. So you're not going to be able to put let's say a 7.62 bolt and barrel extension and then go to put a 338 barrel in there. Obviously the 7.62 projector or cartridge would fit into the chamber, but the barrel extension would be the limiter. So if you forget to change one part in any configuration, it will limit you from shooting the wrong caliber. So keeping it simple, and it's not keeping it simple and stupid, it's more of limiting it for the operator so he doesn't have those things to think about. Again, keeping simplicity with the design, it reduces the amount that they have to think about. When you're in stressful situations, you do not want to have to think about 7 things when you could think about 1 thing. So as simple as it can be. So going into manufacturing and the simplicity of the design, there's 207 parts in this gun, which is about 35% less than a 240 or a 50 cal. There's no rivets, there's no screws or fasteners inside the receiver. It's all one piece. It is steel construction, so it is very robust. The rail is all integrated into the receiver, so you can take off your optic, put it back on, return to zero is darn near perfect. And it's really designed for the user, by users, people that have used machine guns, that have experience on them, especially belt feds. And that's one of our things that we're proud of at Ohio Ordnance, is the fact that we specialize in belt fed machine guns. It's something that very few companies in the world operate and manufacture, and we're proud to say that we designed it in-house, we built it in-house, we make our own barrels, we make our receivers, we make all the critical components as much as we can, and buy springs and buy pins and screws from contract manufacturers of ours to create this system. So we're very excited for the future of this. You take the energy of the 338 and compare it to the 7.62, and it just blows it out of the water. It's not comparable, and you almost double your effective range. So in a package that is just as long and lighter than the 240 Bravo. So this system comes in at 51 inches long and 25.5 pounds. So we've reduced the weight and made it an inch shorter overall, and you get almost double the capacity and the capability for the user. So thank you for your time, and look forward to talking to you soon.